Takumi is an unemployed, lonely but talented young chef who gets a job offer at a crazy lodge house. He thinks about turning down, but as soon as he sees the beautiful caretaker, he realizes there are more important things than having a dream job. Unknown to him, the caretaker isn't just your average lady. Will these secrets stop him from pursuing his heart? In a bubbling and peaceful city, Takumi remains a stain to it just for the fact that he exists. He follows directions on his phone to a place called Astro Lodge. As he's about entering the place, he hears a scream from the back and rushes to help. Getting there, he sees a young lady dangling from the roof and sprints to catch her. He's obviously no Superman and ends up being crushed by her weight.
Nice.
The lady asks if he's alright for the first time in his life. He sees someone so beautiful who made the effort to talk to him. His lovely moment didn't last long when the lady's dog came to protect its owner. They head inside and she tends to his wounds while telling him that she was cleaning the roof when an animal ran into the ladder. Takumi asks if the place is a restaurant and hands out his application while introducing himself. He came for an interview to be the head chef, but even the lady seemed a bit surprised. Suddenly, a couple of people just start popping out of nowhere while talking about his application. They all face the young lady who seems to have put up a weird job posting. It was like all those companies that wanted a full IT team in one person.
What?
It seems she had no idea how to structure the posting, which meant that Takumi would most likely still remain unemployed, poor, and lonely. One of the guys who popped out earlier tells Takumi that the Astro Lodge is a shared house that provides regular breakfast. The former landlord passed away and the young lady who they refer to as Mira took over the place. Unfortunately, it seems Mira has more talent for killing wildlife with her food than being able to feed actual humans. The young kid at the table makes fun of Takumi for being unemployed at 25, but very soon that kid would be in the same situation. The kid's dad then suggests that Takumi should work and live there while his child insults him for being an unemployed bum. How did he even afford the suit he's wearing? Mira tells him that all these people are residents of the lodge. They all suddenly start demanding breakfast from her, but it seems they haven't learned their lesson enough. Takumi notices the fish inside a cooler called Scad and goes to take a look. He decides to cook them since they would go bad if left out. The residents, who have no shame, urged him to please prepare some food for them. Takumi put on his apron and got to cooking. You could see he was very skilled in preparing food for people, but he definitely has no skills to sustain a livelihood for himself.
Yeah, boy.
Everyone tries his food when he's done, and for the first time in a long while, they had an actual meal. Mira took a bite and literally entered a trance while the unemployed guy stared at her like she was a fallen star. To make life easier for themselves, the residents start telling Takumi that Mira is single and that if he worked there, it would increase his chances of securing the girl. They thank him for the food, and he leaves. Takumi doesn't even take 2 steps before remembering Mira's, and he rushes back inside to ask her to allow him to make breakfast for her every day. Her dog immediately bit his head and he bled out whatever was left of his brain. Takumi became the greatest unemployed simp after what he just said. He moves into the lodge the next day while Mira apologizes for her dog's actions. She calls it Naosuke and she says it's not usually violent. Takumi tries to pet the dog but immediately gets rejected just like everyone else in his life has done to him. The old man comes along to take Naosuke on a walk, and it looks like that's the only person that the dog fears. The man talks about hosting a welcoming party for Takumi like they did for Mira, and then drags Naosuke for his walk. Mira tells Takumi that the man's name is Shokichi and he's the oldest resident of the lodge. She says that he's a novelist and Takumi brings out his phone to search for the man but finds nothing. Meanwhile, Mira doesn't have a smartphone and has no idea what it is. It's almost like she fell straight from the sky without knowledge of anything.
Damn!
After the formalities, she shows Takumi around the lodge. She then takes him to the basement where they store all their ingredients and drinks. Takumi notices a vintage drink, but Mira doesn't even know what it is. Was she just born dumb or something? Mira then informs him that they serve breakfasts on weekdays from 7:30 to 8:30 while weekends are off. She then gives him the key to the drawer where they keep money, and that was the end of the tour. I'm not sure if he heard everything she said considering the way he was staring at her like a fool. They find the kid doing homework under the table in the living room. These residents aren't normal people from what we can see here. Takumi suddenly hears the pink-haired girl screaming, and she stomps through the place in anger. The kid's dad pops up from behind him like some creepy stalker while cracking open a drink. He hands Takumi the drink and everyone leaves as soon as she shows up. The canned drink was hers and she obviously thinks the stupid new chef was the one who drank it. Now he has to pay back with a bottle of beer, or I'm pretty sure that'll be his last day working there. The scene then shifts to the girl giving a performance for them. The kid's dad, Ren, then tells Takumi that her name is Matsubara, and she works as an indie idol named Terurin. Yep, everyone in this lodge is some form of a crackhead. Takumi searches for her on his phone and she appears before him like a freak, saying she'd sue if he uploaded any media of her. Mira then compliments and insults the idol at the same time without even knowing it. Then they make a toast to their new head chef and their new lives, which are now free from a torturous breakfast. Mira has really scared these guys for life. Takumi then gives a small speech and they continue having fun for the night. The next morning, Takumi prepares a great breakfast for them. He starts taking notes of what he needs to buy when he sees Mira carrying a ladder outside. Ren pops out of nowhere like he usually does and talks about how weird Mira is. Takumi asks if he's not going to work, but the man reminds him about how much of an unemployed lowlife he is. Takumi heads out and sees her looking through a birdhouse. He offers to help her but gets rejected, and instead she decides to follow him and go shopping. As they head out, they come across a movie poster, but Mira further shows how weird she is when she doesn't really know what a movie is. Maybe it's a little exaggerated, but I'm pretty sure she's clueless about it. Takumi suspects that she came from overseas, but I highly doubt that foreigners would be that oblivious. They end up going to get some snacks while shopping for ingredients. Back at the lodge at night, Takumi tries to bring a movie for them to see and goes to her room. I thought being too forward normally scared the ladies. He musters up the courage to knock on her door, but overhears her saying that she's a widow. Takumi obviously thought she meant widow, and all his dreams were crushed that night. Inside Mira's room, it looks like a spaceship, and Naosuke is standing on two legs while talking to her. What the hell is going on? Naosuke mentions that she's in line for the throne of the planet of Wid. It seems they're looking for a key to something, but Mira just wants a smartphone. If she returned the key to their planet, she would ascend the throne. That's quite the turn of events. I wonder if Takumi would quit if he finds out that he's in love with an alien. My Riz Demons, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and check out one of these 2 other videos. Also, if you want to get that shredded anime physique, click the link in the description below.